Hey, do you want to know what the 10 things are that you should never do with narcissists? By the end of this video, I'm going to break it all down for you so that you will know too. Hi, I'm Rebecca Zung, and I am an attorney. I am a best-selling author, and I am a narcissist negotiation expert. I teach you how to deal with the most toxic personality on the planet and how to go from where to begin all the way to a win. And if that sounds good to you, then make sure you hit subscribe and hit that notification bell. And that way you'll get notified when I upload new videos. So let's talk about that toxic personality and what to never do when you are dealing with them. And hey, I just want to say something about this. If you have already done some of these things, do not beat yourself up over it. Okay? Wherever you are now is where you can begin, right? Right now is your jumping off point. And it's never too late unless you actually give up. I just want to kind of say before I get going with this, that if you're sitting there going, oh my God, I already did that, don't beat yourself up over it. You can always make that ground back up. Today is a new day. Okay. So let's talk about this. So the first thing I want you to never do with narcissists is expect them to be loyal to you, because they're only loyal to looking out for number one, and that's themselves, not anybody else in the world. And there's a lot of reasons for it. And I do want to say something else with this. A lot of times in my videos, I'll say, this is why they are like that. This is why they look out for number one. This is why they don't have the ability to, have any care, compassion, or sympathy or empathy for others. And I've heard some of you say like, oh, you're like defending them. I am not defending them. Let me just make sure that very clear about that. I'm simply helping you to understand the psyche of the personality so that you can stop beating your head against the brick wall. And if you've watched my videos, you also know that I have said beating your head against a brick wall would actually be more satisfying, because at least the brick wall is not actively trying to manipulate you, gaslight you, and take you down, which is what narcissists try to do, especially if they don't think that you're for them anymore. Because remember, with the narcissist, you're either for them or against them. And if you're against them, they see you as public enemy number one, and they want to take you down before you take them down. No matter what they say, even if they have said, I'll always be there for you, I will never let you down. Most of the time, when they say those kinds of things, it's future faking. It's not necessarily because they actually feel that way. It's because they want you to come off of whatever it is that you're trying to hold them accountable for. And if you want to know more about future faking, you can definitely check out my video on that topic. Don't expect loyalty, not from a narcissist. All right. So another thing never to do with narcissists is to explain, justify, or overshare. And what I mean by that is when you are negotiating with them, when you are emailing with them, when you're texting with them, it's very, very common to want to defend yourself, to want to explain, to want to take everything point by point and go, that's not right, and that's a lie, and how would you say that, and how could you believe that, and how could you say those things knowing all the things I've done for you? And you want to point out all of your contributions and your accomplishments and all the things that you've done for that person. So for you, don't try to justify, explain, or overshare, because you're not going to get anywhere with that. So I stick with just the facts, ma'am or sir. Just respond to the things that you need to respond to. And to the rest of it, you can just say, I deny your allegations. I'm in receipt of your email. I deny your allegations. And here's the one thing that I needed to respond to, and leave it at that. I call it tactical responses. Just never explain, justify, or overshare. The next thing never to do is to expect them to change. I mean, I guess there are stories out there of narcissists who have changed and who have really done the inward work that they need to do. And it's just so rare that if you sit around waiting for that, you're going to be disappointed. And they'll probably be taking advantage of you along the way as they do it. So, especially if you're negotiating with them, you definitely don't want to like be taken in by that, because if they act like they've changed, it's probably just a manipulation and a move. Maybe it's a Hoover or a future fake or something like that in order to try to get you to, you know, be back into their web of control. So don't expect that. So number 4 is never expect them to take responsibility for their actions. Not really. I mean, if they need to in order to manipulate you, then they might. But for the most part, it's deny, project, and deflect, lie. They'll do that too. They don't want to have to take responsibility for their actions because then that is less of themselves, right? And they don't have a sense of self. It's already very fragile. So by having to take responsibility, they feel like they're being exposed and they don't want that. And if you want to know more about what happens when you expose a narcissist, check out my video on that topic too. And the next one is never to give them ammunition. In other words, don't do things that make it easy for them to make you a target, like get super emotional, get angry. I was just talking to somebody recently where the wife is bipolar and she wasn't on her meds and she was kicking and hitting the husband and pushing him and doing all of these things to him. And as a response, because he was angry, he like broke a table. Well, now she had something on him, right? And so don't give them ammunition. Never, ever, ever do that. And so if you're never going to do these things, I want you to put never in the comments below. And we still have 5 more. Okay. So number 6 is never justify or defend their behavior. Don't make excuses for them. Don't allow yourself to go, well, they had a horrible childhood, or they're really stressed out at work, or whatever it is that's going on with them, because it's never a good excuse to be abusive or abusive to somebody, whether it's physical or emotional or whatever, psychological abuse, whatever form of abuse they're inflicting on other people. It's just never okay. And there's a lot of people out there who've had just the same kinds of horrible things happen to them, and they're not abusive to other people. Never justify or defend their behavior, because that's not good for you and it's not good for them. And it just enables it. So never do that. Number 7 is never get into the mud with them. Once they trigger you, once they're trying to goad you, they're goading you to try to get down into the mud with them. And that's not going to get you anywhere. When you're trying to say you're in a lawsuit and they file something and you file something, and you're back and forth. And now, the only person who benefits from that are the people who are in the system, lawyers and people like that. Otherwise, you guys don't. You never get anywhere with that. So never get into the mud with them. Instead, create strategy and leverage so that you can come out of this thing unscathed, which is what I teach you. So make sure you follow me because of that. Okay. Next is don't ever get sucked in by the Hoover or the love bomb. So when you start to walk away, when you start to create those boundaries and you're saying, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. Now I'm seeing what's going on and I want to get out of this thing, or I want to start handling this in a way that's powerful and productive. That's when they might start to hoover you and they might start to love bomb you and they might start to come back. And I do have videos on both of those topics as well, if you want to know more about that. But they're going to come back in and start trying to use all of the charming wiles that they used in order to get you into their little web of control in the first place, and never get sucked into that. All right. And the next one is similar, which is never fall for the future fake. When you're trying to get them to be held accountable for something, or you're not liking their behavior in some way, or they didn't do something they were supposed to do, or they did do something, and they start telling you that things are going to be great and everything's going to be different and you'll see and blah, 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 whatever. That's the future fake, and never fall for that. And the last thing never to do with narcissists is never put anything in writing that they could possibly use against you. As your lawyer, I have to tell you this, joking, but not joking. I mean, seriously, you have to remember that everything you put your hand to is a potential trial exhibit, whether it's in a business situation or a personal or family law situation. Every text, every email, every social media post is a potential trial exhibit. So if you don't want to potentially see it again in a court of law, then do not hit send and do not hit post. Okay? All right. And if you are getting ready to negotiate with a narcissist, grab my free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet, free ebook at winmynegotiation.com. Join me in my free private Facebook group, Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. I'd love to see you in there. And if you like this video, give it a like, give it a share, drop me that comment. Let me know never that you're never going to do these things, not ever anymore. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, now's a good time to do that. Subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm Rebecca Zung. And remember that it's never too late to live your best life and negotiate your best life. And I